Twitter. So now we're live everywhere. So here we are. We are live. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have to go into my Facebook and open it up for everybody else because Facebook always has to be difficult. And I have to open it up for everybody. For some reason, Facebook just, I've tried to change it a million times, but it just, I go through this every presentation. So hang tight with me and let me just try to figure this, edit audience. I keep doing it. I keep changing it, but whatever reason, it just doesn't. So anyway, now we are live. Everybody can watch it on Facebook. And there we go. So, well, it's Friday, folks. And what a cool day to be. Any day it's Friday, it's always good. So wherever you are in this world, I hope that you're having a great Friday. I hope that you have whatever plans you're having for this weekend. Hopefully it's a good one. And you're just going to have a chill out weekend. That's it. Chill out weekend. Thank you for being here, everybody. I'm Bishop James Long. So a couple things. If you want to go to the site that sponsors the show, well, all you got to do is go to kgradb.com. KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And also make sure you subscribe there. You're going to get 30% off your subscription if you put Bishop as your promo code. Why not? It's already very inexpensive. If you love the paranormal, well, then there you go, folks. All you got to do, but they have all kinds of really cool shows there, really great shows. And you just put Bishop as your promo code and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Also, if you want to go to my website, it's very simple, bishopjameslong.com. There it is. That's it. bishopjameslong, LONG.com. Pretty simple. And of course, if you want to go to the church's website, well, that's easy too. usocc.org. There you go. So now you're all caught up on everything. And hopefully, you'll come on over and visit us. And, you have to work. Yeah. It's, but you know what? That's a blessing. You got a job. Look at it like that. Look at it that way. Now I am going to ask people to help with this situation. I have been contacted by a paranormal team and an individual who has said, let's see, there is a case right now in Pennsylvania, and I'm trying to locate the case. It is clear that this is a very violent case. I have seen some evidence, and there's no doubt about it that I need to get to this home. So it is right. It's located in, where is this? In Pennsylvania. And I don't want to really give the city out because I don't want to give too much information, but there's a paranormal investigator with a team. They went out, they investigated some activity. This is I've seen a lot of videos in my life, and this is a very peculiar one. You absolutely 1,000,000% see a black shadow just expanding bigger and bigger and bigger in this home. And it's a problem. This is a problem. It is, let's see, the husband was pulled, the husband was pulled off the couch. The kids are hearing voices mimicking their mother. They're seeing black masses in the home. And like I said, I've seen some videos, and it's quite clear that there's something there. And they have, it's a shadow at different times, mostly, but she has the figure with red eyes, 7 feet tall. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that's a problem. Okay, well, and even the next door neighbor dog is frightened by this situation. So I'm going to have to go to Pennsylvania. I'm going to have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And as you know, I don't charge, and I never have. So I have to find a way to get there. So if you want to help, you can help. And I'll try to get there as best I can. You know, it's one of those things. This is the challenge of doing this ministry. You know, when you charge, you can just charge. Well, I'll charge $5,000, and no problem. Yeah, it easily pays for all the expenses. Well, I don't charge, and I have not won the lottery yet, and I'm not Donald Trump. I don't have my private plane, so I have to find a way to get there. So if you want to help, you can go to bishopjameslong.com. And I believe there is I think that there's a donation there link up there. I think there's up there now. But if you want to help, fine. If you don't, well, if you want to offer your negativity, you can go someplace else, because negativity doesn't help the situation. So unless you want to pay for the trip, I'll be more than happy to send you all the expenses. The people say, well, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. Okay, then I won't. I won't ask for donations at all. And then I'll send you every single receipt and you pay for it. No, I can't do that. Oh, but you can offer your negativity. You can offer your criticism. Got it. So it's a very, I'm going to have to get to, I have to fly to Pennsylvania. So there's going to have to be a flight. I'm going to have to get a car, and I'm going to have to get a hotel. I have no idea how long this is going to be. It just depends. We are now getting all the cases, all the information together, and they're going to send that to me, all the EVPs, all the videos. And then once I get permission to tell you where it is, it's in Pennsylvania, I can tell you that. And then I will tell you the investigator's name so you can verify all of this. Then we will go from there. So give me evidence that your magic man exists. Okay, well, I'll give you, let's see, this person says, give me evidence that your magic man exists. Well, hey, go green. I won't give you evidence, but what I will do is ban you. Bye-bye. All right. As simple as that. I'm not going to play games. Folks, let me just say this. If you are a troll, you're not going to get my attention. You're not going to get me riled up. You're not going to get me angry. I'm going to ignore you because I'm not a kid. See, well, I'm not in middle school. And so I've graduated emotionally and intellectually from middle school. So I've graduated from that. So I'm not in middle school anymore. So, trolls, you'll be ignored. So, all right, go harass somebody else. So anyway, and thank you, T Baker. I appreciate that. So anyway, if you can help, that would be great. We'll go from there. I'll let you guys know where we are as far as the donations and where we can be. This is the hardest part. This is the hardest part of my job, is having to tell family, you got to wait. I've got to raise funds to get there. I have to raise funds to get there. So that's all we can do. Do you know what? Who is this person? I don't see the person's name there on TikTok. Yeah, here's the deal. If you're going to be trolls, you're just going to be banned. That's all there is to it. You'll be banned. Because again, people say, well, you shouldn't ban people. Well, that doesn't mean that I also should allow people to, say nasty. You can go to bishopjameslong.com. bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down, you'll see donations there. So I appreciate that. Folks, I appreciate people asking me if I would stay on people's property, but to be honest with you, I don't know. I've got to be careful. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but you have to be careful these days. People ask me, hey, well, why don't you stay in my place? Well, I don't know you. So, no. So it's kind of like, you have to be careful. But I appreciate, again, not to insult anyone, but you have to be careful these days. You just have to. And I think that's common sense. Okay. All right. Again. Okay. So, Andy, 1987. Why do you need to donate? Well, they just blocked you. I'm going to say it one more time. I don't get paid for clergy as being clergy. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. I don't get paid. We don't get a paycheck. I pay for out of my own pocket to get to people's homes. So I'm going to, again, Andy and whoever else has a problem. I haven't won the lottery. I can't just write a $1,500 check out to the flight, and neither can you. But it's amazing how people think that just because I'm a priest, I can say, hey, God, give me $2,000, and it just magically happens. Well, it doesn't work that way. So I don't get paid as clergy. And so what I do is if I have a case and I need help, then I ask people for help. And because I can't get there on my own. Can't. It is so fascinating that people actually are nastier to me. Here, I want you to think about this. People are nastier to me when I actually have a case, and I very rarely ask for help. But when I do, because I can't afford to go up to take a flight and a hotel and all this other stuff, but when I do, people get really nasty. But yet if I charged $5,000, they wouldn't say a word. Let that sink in for a moment. I just think that's kind of strange, isn't it? Kind of strange. So weird to me. But anyway, oh yeah, there we go. Well, I appreciate all you guys being here, and I appreciate you having this this beautiful, beautiful Friday, spending your Friday evening. That's correct, Michael. Yep, that's correct. Well, that's all right. That's all right. It goes with the territory, doesn't it? It goes with the territory. Totally understand. Okay, folks, tonight we are going to talk about a cool topic, and I'll get your questions in just a second, guys. So for those of you who are brand new here, here's how we have always done the presentation. For the first 1 hour, I will do a presentation on whatever topic it is. And then at 8 p.m., I answer all your questions. I've been doing that for now 3 years now. And I'm here every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, every Wednesday. So I answer all the questions as I possibly can, which I think is very fair. But at 8 p.m. Eastern, in 1 hour, I'll answer your questions. I promise. I promise you. I will. Okay? So hang tight on the questions, because tonight I want to talk about a topic for 45 minutes, and then I'll get to your questions. You know, Halloween is right around the corner. And so let me just say this. There's always going to be those people say, well, you like Halloween, so you must be evil. You must be possessed. And you have a little pumpkin right there. And oh, my goodness. And, oh, shut up. Anyway, there's always going to be people who's always going to have an opinion. Always going to have an opinion on how you should live your life. I like Halloween. I enjoy Halloween. I have no problems with Halloween. Now, sometimes you can get a little gory. It's like, okay, that's a little much. But I have no problem. When I was a kid, I dressed up as Halloween in a Halloween costume. I'm sure. I'm not a Satanist. I'm not a Luciferian. I happen to be a bishop who fight evil. So the idea that if you go out trick or treating and if you have that costume on, you're gonna grow up to be a Satanist. Now, you know what? Just relax. Just take some anxiety medicine and just chill. Some people just go crazy with this whole thing. But I have no problem. I have no problem with it. So for those of people who do, well, whatever. So Halloween is right around the corner. Now, what I'm going to talk about today for the first hour is haunted houses that are in your area that are allegedly supposed to be really great, a lot of fun, because it's already started. It is already started. Halloween season is here. Haunted houses are open. And by the way, for those of you who need to know, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRDB, and Twitch, I run the show on 3 different computers. So if I don't see your comment, it's not because I'm ignoring you, Princess. It is because I have 3 different computers running at the same time. And I can only see one computer, one screen at a time. So, moderators, remind people that I will answer the questions at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have any questions, I will answer them at 8. Okay. So this is from Mary Lyles. And this is what it says. Looking for the best haunted houses near you? We're going to a haunted house, whether you go on Halloween night or in the days leading up to October 30th or 1st, is a classic Halloween tradition, especially among teens and young adults and even older adults. And let's be honest, nothing says Halloween quite like getting your socks scared off at the spookiest haunted houses in your city or state. However, she says not all haunted houses are created equal, and I agree. So if you're looking for the best, the very best haunted houses near you, she has compiled a list for us. And she says, here are the best and scariest haunted houses in every single state in the United States. Okay. Yes, I like, again, I've already talked about, I like Halloween. If you don't like that fact, you can go scroll up to, I mean, really, seriously. Again, if you don't like the fact that I like Halloween, there you can scroll. You can scroll on. If you like the fact that I love Halloween, welcome. So why do we love haunted houses? The person says haunted houses may have some people running in the other direction, but others can't get enough. Why is that? She says. Well, according to a study in the journal Emotion, researchers found that after people had a voluntarily frightening experience going through a haunted house, most people said they were in a better mood. See, mood increases were significant among people who said they had challenged their fears. And a lot of haunted houses do. Okay, you know what? See, Miss Shaw says you need Jesus in your life, and you need to understand Christianity because Christ said, "Don't judge." Bye-bye, Shaniqua. All right. So anyway, it says they also noticed that people who had a positive experience going through a haunted house have the same and inactive brain activity when they're doing meditative activities, like drawing or writing. That could explain the dazed feeling that you sometimes get after a haunted house is over. Let me just do this. That's okay. There we go. Subscribers only chat on TikTok because I'm done with the trolls. Sorry, trolls. I don't pay attention. Go change your diaper someplace else. This is not the changing diaper location. We're adults here. Man, folks, there's something in the air. There's something in the air or something in the water or something. So at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will open it up to everybody, and then that's how we're going to do it. I can't even get to the I can't even get through the introduction. Man, you're very welcome. And for those of you who are subscribers, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions because you can ask questions now because you're subscribing to the channel and you support the channel. Okay. This could explain the dazed feeling you sometimes get after the haunted house is over, she says. Now, with that said, if you want to see if a haunted house chills you out or just scares the daylights out of you, here's where you can find one in your state. All right. So the first one in Alabama, and thank you for the gifts on TikTok. Alabama, the Atrox factory. It's in Leeds, Alabama. Okay, I have nowhere where that is. But apparently she says that's the place to go. In addition to Atrox factory being the largest haunted attraction in Leeds, it's over 50,000 square foot. Could you imagine? That is huge. It says you'll also have a chance to spot and meet actors from popular horror flicks. Wow. So that's apparently a pretty big thing. It's Atrox factory, Atrox factory. It's in Leeds, Alabama. So if you're not in Alabama, let's say perhaps you're in Alaska. Well, thank you there, Shelley. Fright Night Manor. Yep, even Alaska. And so go Alaska. Alaska actually has they're into the Halloween season, Fright Night Manor in Anchorage, Alaska. Fright Night Manor is not only the longest running haunted house in Alaska, it's been running since 1985. That's a long time. That's quite successful. But this Anchorage haunted house also has 3D rooms and what seems to be endless creepy clowns. See, clowns never scared me. I've never been afraid of clowns. It's interesting how some people that's a legitimate fear. That is a true legitimate fear. But I've never been afraid of clowns. Now, the next one, now I have heard of this location. It's in Arizona, 13th floor in Phoenix, Arizona. I've talked to people who've actually gone to this location, and they say it is terrifying. So let me say one more time. Yes, I actually do enjoy Halloween. Nope, I have no problem with people enjoying Halloween. There it is. But Arizona, 13th floor in Phoenix, Arizona. And actually, when I talked to a couple of my friends who went there last year, they said they had an ambulance there because people kept passing out because it scared them that much. So now the author says you're in for a haunted treat when you take the elevator to the 13th floor at this Phoenix scary house. The 13th floor haunted house offers plenty of monsters that will fright and delight. Cool. Pretty cool. If you are in Arkansas, and I'm going through all the states, folks. I'll get to the states. It's in Little Rock, Arkansas. It is Reaper Haunted House. Reaper Haunted House in Little Rock, Arkansas. You can look this up. The Reaper Haunted House in North Little Rock boasts that it has over 15,000 square feet of horror, with 30 scenes of sheer Halloween mayhem. One Google review says the Reaper Haunted House is the best one I've been to in years. Everything was on point. The actors, the costumes, the set design, it was all awesome, and I was impressed. Now, I've never been. And if you've ever been to any of these locations that I'm telling you about, let us know if you liked them or if you didn't like them. But in Little Rock, Arkansas, called Reaper Haunted House. Now, here's another one, of course, and we're in California. Now, I'm sure there are a lot more haunted locations in each state. Okay, but this is the author is telling us this, and so I'm just passing on the information that she's found that has the best reviews online. Okay, in California, in Thousand Oaks, California, Reign of Terror Haunted House. Reign, R-E-I-G-N, Reign of Terror Haunted House in Thousand Oaks, California. So the Reign of Terror Haunted House in Thousand Oaks has over 100. Well, thank you very much. They're rocking over 100 rooms that are all connected. So when you're done with one room, you'll be immediately transported to another haunted adventure. It's interesting. Let me just say, we're going to go in Colorado next. When I was growing up, we had in Louisville, we had a haunted house. My family helped the church. Actually, it was the church. So for those of you saying, I can't believe you like the haunted house, I can't believe you like Halloween, it's evil, it's demon. Well, you know what? When I grew up, the church, it was actually St. Anthony's. If you really want, in Kentucky, St. Anthony's had a huge fundraising event. Not only did St. Anthony's have a fundraising event, but the priest played Dracula. Father Tom was wonderful. He was one of the most amazing human beings. He was a saint. He's still alive. He's a Franciscan. So he was actually in the haunted house as Dracula. And my parents were really involved with organizing this. Let me tell you this, guys. This was thank you very much, Tricia. This was one of the scariest haunted houses, I think, in Kentucky. It was terrifying. I loved haunted, but when I was a kid, I didn't want to go through it because it was just that scary. It was really, really intense. As a matter of fact, they had either one or two, I can't remember, ambulances there because people would pass out because they got so scared. And it was really cool because so you have the church, and then underneath the church, you have this big, huge basement. And I remember it wasn't a finished basement. It had some columns and it kind of a dirt floor. I remember that. And, they would put really heavy vinyl and they would create scenes. And you would go to one scene and it would scare you. Go to another scene and it would scare you. And it was huge. But just the location alone was terrifying. I mean, you wouldn't think that underneath this big, huge, St. Anthony's is a beautiful church, but you wouldn't think underneath that is this big looking crypt looking. And it really does. It kind of reminds me of a big crypt. It was so spooky. But people passed out all the time. I mean, it was really crazy. And that was in Kentucky. And I remember growing up in Father Tom. He was Dracula. And you wouldn't think Dracula would be scary, but the way they did it, he came out of the coffin. And yes, this was a priest, and this was a Roman Catholic priest. So for those of you who are hater-gators out there saying, well, you're going to go to hell because you're worshiping Satan. Well, it was a Roman Catholic church that actually did a fundraising event for the church and made a lot of money for the parish. And the Roman Catholic priest played Dracula. So, again, the hater-gators are going to have an opinion on how you should live your life. I live my life how I think I should, not because someone else tells me how I should live it. But this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. And so I thought they made a lot of, it was quite successful and scary. Yeah, they're hater-gators. Colorado, in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which, by the way, I've been to Colorado. I went to Denver. I had a case there, and I was able to work the case, and I had some extra time. And then I went with some friends because they were, they wanted me to experience Bigfoot. They wanted me to experience what it was like to investigate Bigfoot, because I never have. And I had the opportunity to go to Colorado and do it. It was for me, we saw this one section, and maybe one day when I do I'm going to do a show on Bigfoot, and I'm going to show the video again. We saw a structure there that I can't explain. I can't explain it away. And I'll show this. Maybe next week we'll do a Bigfoot show. But when I saw this structure, I mean, there's no way a human being could have made it. And I'll talk about that next week, why. And I'll show the video because, I mean, it would be impossible because there are the tree limbs that were literally lifted up by its roots. And I mean, lifted up. But, honestly, when I was in Colorado, I was kind of afraid, not so much of the Bigfoot. I was afraid of mountain lions. Because, when you're in Colorado, I mean, there are mountain lions there. And that was a concern. And there's, there's bears. But we were there, and I was always on the lookout for, I always had that feeling we were being watched. Have you ever had that experience where that you feel like you truly are being watched? That's what I felt like. And it was kind of uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable feeling. So, but this is Colorado. In Colorado Springs, Colorado, Hell Scream Haunted House. Well, that's one heck of a name, is it? Hell Scream Haunted House. Well, the author says, want to check out a haunted house so intense it has been picked up by the likes of NBC, CBS, and many other national outlets. It says, known for its movie quality special effects and killer costumes. The Hell Scream Haunted House in Colorado Springs is one haunted house you won't want to miss. Well, there you go, folks. So you can look that up. Hell Scream Haunted House in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Pretty cool. If you're in Connecticut, well, in Wallingford, Connecticut. So if this is your area, Wallingford, Connecticut, the haunted house is called Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut. It says made up entirely of volunteers. That's the best ones to have. The Trail of Terror in Wallingford donates all of its proceeds to charity. So again, for the hater-gators out there saying, it's all evil, it's evil. Well, okay, well, they raised last year $700,000 for the Red Cross. One Google reviewer says, Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut, the haunt itself is totally worth it. The actors do a terrific job throughout the entire thing, which takes nearly an hour, 1 hour to go through. That is a long time. So, Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut. Okay. In Delaware. So you're in Delaware. It's in Middletown, Delaware. Middletown or Middleton, Delaware. It's called Fright Land. Middletown, Delaware. Fright Land. And believe it or not, this is named one of the top 10 scariest haunted attractions in America. So if you're in Delaware, you got to check this out by the Travel Channel. Frightland in Middletown lives up to its name. There are 8 spooky highlights to explore, including a hayride, a haunted barn, a woods that will keep your heart pumping. So if you are in Delaware and you're trying to find a place, well, I mean, the Travel Channel, which, yep, I'm a cast member on the Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists show. I love the Travel Channel, and it's rated as one of the top 10 scariest haunted attractions in America. Frightland, Middletown, Delaware. Okay, let's get into Florida. Florida. Yeah, for those of you who are on, I'm going to turn this off here. For those of you who are on Twitch, come on over to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or TikTok. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to try to own. Someone keeps telling me that I need to get Discord. So I think what I'm going to do is set that up instead of do Twitch, because I've been looking for a third one, and it's just hard to find a third streaming service. And I think I like the idea of doing Discord, because people keep telling me I need to do that. So, okay, good old Florida in Tampa Bay. Screamageddon. What a great name. I mean, come on, folks. You got to Screamageddon. There we go. Screamageddon in Tampa Bay offers 6 ghoulishly delightful attractions in one location. They also have one attraction in 3D. They also have a paintball attraction and a newly added beer garden. Well, that's all. Yeah, that's great. Come on, Tampa Bay. Can you imagine? I mean, hopefully the actors aren't visiting the beer garden with their little chainsaw, because if they forget to take the chain off, that's probably a bad idea. I'm just saying. So, but anyway, Screamageddon in Tampa Bay, Florida. This is pretty cool. They also have an attraction in 3D. There's a lot of people doing that. There's a lot of people. I assume they give you some 3D glasses or something, and that'd be pretty cool. All right, in Georgia, good old Georgia. So if you are on, I'm going to do Discord. I think so. Yeah, I think so. And because I really want to add a third application, but I do Twitch normally, and I wasn't happy with Instagram. I wasn't happy with YouNow. So I think I'm going to Discord. People keep telling me. So Georgia. The author says you need to go to the Netherworld Haunted House in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And by the way, if you've been to any of these places, let us know. Okay, so let us know. In Georgia, I'm not been to this place. Netherworld Haunted House in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Do we have any folks who've been to this Netherworld Haunted House in Stone Mountain, Georgia? Because I'd be interested in seeing. Well, thank you there, Christopher, for subscribing, and thank you for all those of you who've just subscribed today. Thank you. So good old Georgia. All right. Well, the Netherworld Haunted House in Stone Mountain, Georgia says the Netherworld Haunted House has been spooking guests who dare enter since 1987. That's a long time. It says, and easy to see why. The Stone Mountain attraction has professionally quality special effects, costumes, and sets that will have you scream in good time. Well, thank you for subscribing. Folks, I can't bring you guys on because I have 2 different platforms running. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's the first time I've seen bears. I appreciate that, Dubois. Thank you. For those that have no idea what I'm talking about, people are offering gifts to the ministry, and that's the first time I've seen 2 bears dancing. That was funny. Thank you. All right, Hawaii. Haunted Plantation in Wapahu, Hawaii. Hopefully I say that one. Wapahu, Hawaii. Says strongly advising to keep the kids at home. So there we go. If you're in Hawaii, the author says keep the kids at home. Haunted Plantation in Wapahu is haunted delight, built on an actual haunted plantation. The site guarantees that you will be chased and taunted by spirits of old Hawaii. Wow. All right. Idaho. So for those of you who are in Idaho, Caldwell Cladwell, Idaho. How many folks have been to the Haunted World? Thank you, Susie. Okay, so Deb says, I've been to Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut. It's partially outdoors in the woods. Oh, wow. Wow. That's pretty cool. So this one is in Haunted World in Cladwell, Idaho. Cladwell, Idaho. So it says here, claiming they have been scarizing Idaho for 20 years. Haunted World in Caldwell. Well, this says Caldwell. This is Cladwell. Has plenty of things to be afraid of. They have over 40 acres of scary attractions, including a 55-foot slide into darkness, a second haunted house, and a haunted corn maze. So this says Cladwell, Idaho. So there we go. If you've never been there, and if you're in Idaho, check it out. Yep. In Illinois, Statesville Haunted Prison. How many of you? Well, thank you, Dubois, for the. Oh, that's very beautiful. The jellyfish there. Thank you. How many of you have been to Statesville Haunted Prison in Crest Hill, Illinois? Anybody? Because I have heard this is terrifying. So I don't know. I've never been there. I have been to a haunted house in Illinois, but it wasn't this one. So it's called Statesville Haunted Prison. The prison you work at is haunted? Yeah, I imagine so. Well, the Statesville Haunted Prison in Crest Hill, Illinois. So this is what the author says. If you are a true fan of haunted attractions and being scared out of your mind with terror, then come to Statesville. An eager Google reviewer wrote about Statesville Haunted Prison in Crest Hill. As a guest, you'll pass through 23 maximum security prison cells with more than 100 creepy prisoners. Wow. And then you enter the horrifying City of the Dead, where you'll meet the gatekeeper and his horde of zombies. Oh, that's that. I mean, first of all, I would like to go to Statesville Prison just for the historical aspects. I would be the nerd. I would be the type of nerd that would go into the haunted house in Statesville Haunted Prison, and the monster come to me and say, "Hey, do you know anything about the history of this cell?" I mean, they would say, "I'm sorry, you got to go, sir. You got to leave. This is not a history tour." Well, thank you very much, Dubois. But that's what I would do. But that's me. I would just be asking questions about the history of it. But anyway, that is in Statesville Haunted Prison in Crest Hill, Illinois. Now, if you know any place, if I mention a state and you want me to talk about it, just let me know, and I'll be happy to mention it. Indiana, a good old Indiana, Haunted Hills Hospital. Haunted Hills Hospital in Lake Station, Indiana. Interesting. Haunted Hills Hospital. At Haunted Hills in Indiana, you can choose between many haunting experiences, including the Sick Billy Sideshow Haunted Attraction and the Fear Lab Haunt Experience. But one that stands out above all the others is the Haunted Hill Hospital Haunted House. This attraction holds the most psychotic patients. Well, thank you, Dubois. That were too evil for a regular mental facility. So be ready for a frightful visit. So if you've been there, let us know if you like it. Haunted Hills Hospital in Lake Station, Indiana. Iowa. So if you're in Iowa, well, listen up. The Slaughterhouse in Des Moines, Iowa. Okay. Taking place in a real meat processing factory, the Slaughterhouse in Des Moines. Well, thank you there, Jeff. Offers professional quality special effects, makeup, and scary sets during the month of October. So that's what it's called. It's called the Slaughterhouse in Des Moines, Iowa. Let's talk about Kansas. We're getting through this list. Kansas. In Junction City, Kansas, there is the Zombie Toxin haunted house. I'm kidding. Well, and thank you, Dubois, for all the gifts. I sincerely appreciate that for the ministry. Thank you. I'm just curious, how many of you think that a zombie apocalypse could actually happen? I'm just kind of curious. I think we've asked this before. Thank you, Alan, but I forgot what the answer was. Can we do a one of those polls on TikTok? Because I'm really curious. Thank you, Shell. Thank you for the gifts in the ministry, folks. Tweety Bird. Some of these gifts are so funny. Well, okay, zombies. The zombies that we think of that are that television show, whatever that famous television show. What was it called? Walking Dead. Yeah, The Walking Dead. How many of you think? How many of you think that The Walking Dead could actually happen? Yeah, I'm curious. What do you guys think? Yeah, if scientists don't clone the dead. So you say no? Yes, okay. We have a little poll going on TikTok. We'll have to find out what the answer is in just a second. So what about you? Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. How many of you think that the Walking Dead type of situation could actually happen in wherever? It doesn't matter what country, our United States or wherever else. It's kind of scary if you think about that. Wow, Victoria says yes, exclamation. So Victoria's not playing around. The possibility, okay, it's possible. Some people say nothing shocks me anymore. Satan could do it. Not in the way to describe as a typical zombie, okay. Chemical warfare, possibly, yes. Wow. Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot of you think that it could happen. Yeah, isn't that the truth, Dubois? Isn't that the truth? Well, in Kansas, the zombie toxin haunted house in Junction City, Kansas, takes its time on the details, creating a scary, immersive experience filled with strobe lights. We got to be careful there because sometimes strobe lights might trigger migraines or something, jump scares, and gory scenes. One Google reviewer says, quote, definitely a must-see attraction every Halloween season. Something new and different every year, and the staff puts on a great show. Well worth the money. So there we go, folks. Zombie Toxin Haunted House in Junction City, Kansas. Yeah, you're right, Lady Warrior. That's true. Yeah, and yes, it also those strobe lights can do trigger seizures too. So in tech, that's interesting. In TikTok, for a zombie apocalypse, about 42% said yes, and 58% said no. That's interesting. I mean, 42 said yes, and 58 said no. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting to see that. Now in Kentucky, the USS Nightmare in Newport, Kentucky. Now again, folks, there are other locations besides just what I'm telling you. So thank you there, Hader. Is it Hader? Hyder. Thank you. There are other places besides. Located on the Ohio River's Riverboat Row in Newport, Kentucky, get aboard this terrifying and unique haunted experience. This floating laboratory gone wrong is designed after the William S. Mitchell, a dredge ship that broke free of its mooring, went downstream and slammed into 4 bridges, taking lives with it. It says very spooky. I will tell you that if you've never been to Waverly Hills in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, Waverly has a haunted house there, and a lot of people think that's really scary. Thank you guys for the gift. A lot of people think that's very. I got to tell you, so I love Waverly Hills just for the historical aspects of it. Waverly Hills is amazing, truly amazing, but it's huge. I mean, it is really, really big. A zombie apocalypse? Do I think it could happen? I think it could. I think a chemical warfare. I think something of this nature could most certainly cause the issue. I mean, we already know, even in animals, or even in the insect world, it does occur. Did you guys know that? I mean, it's kind of uncomfortable. Did you know? Did you guys know? Did you guys know that? You didn't? Oh, yeah. There's actually. Well, let's do this very quickly, and we'll get back to the list in just a second. There are cases where this is from David Dutfield. I did a presentation on this once. Zombie movies have got it all wrong, he says. Zombifying viruses are unlikely to give dead people the brain munchies, but real life parasites have the power to take over the brains and make real zombies. Listen to this. Parasites. That is frightening. And there are bugs in the bugs world that actually creates and takes other insects and makes them basically their zombie. Ant zombie give their bodies to a fatal fungi. Yeah, I'm going to do a presentation on this again because it was so interesting. And let me put this to the side. I'm not going to do this tonight, but I am going to do this again because there are actual cases in the insect world where, believe it or not, other insects turn other creatures into zombies. Ooh, I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of creepy. But we'll talk about that. I'm going to do zombies again, and we'll do that. Okay. In Kentucky, again, the USS Nightmare. Louisiana, the 13th Gate Haunted House. Well, there we go again. The 13th Gate Haunted House in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Known for its spooky roots in voodoo and magic, the 13th Gate Haunted House in Baton Rouge is known for its extreme ultra realism and is one of the most detailed haunted houses in existence. The 40,000 square foot haunted house comes with a warning. It is definitely not recommended for the faint of heart, pregnant people, or anyone with a weak bladder. So if you want to go to Louisiana, the 13th Gate Haunted House in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, they're very clear. It's 40,000 square foot place, and it's not for the weak of heart. In Maine, the Haunted Grand View Manor. So again, on the top of the hour at 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll open it up for questions. The Haunted Grandview Manor in Lebanon, Maine. It's a Google reviewer had high praise for Haunted Grandview Manor, writing, "Great time. We had an awesome walk through the haunted house. They definitely scare the out of us. When you think they are finished with you, they come out from a different corner and get you again." This person says, "I was dragged to the last two rooms. They even offered daytime no-scare walkthrough for kids or those who like spooky backdrops, but not the frights." That's pretty cool. That's actually, that's kind of clever, actually, because a lot of people don't like some actor screaming in your face, but people like the spooky backgrounds. It's actually smart. That's in Maine. Haunted Grandview Manor in Lebanon, Maine. In Maryland, Legends of the Fog. Legends of the Fog in Aberdeen, Maryland. So it says here, Legends of the Fog, Aberdeen, named after the city it's located in, is nightmare-inducing. On their page, they boast 4 legendary attractions, including a haunted hayride, a corn maze called Corn Stalkers, the Farewell Hotel, which has new updates, by the way, and the Slaughterhouse. Oh. That's in Maryland. The next one is Massachusetts. Massachusetts, everybody. In Feartown in Seekonk. That's interesting. Massachusetts. With over 1,000 reviews, Feartown in Seekonk is a must-see Halloween destination. It is much larger than it appears. One Google review gushed, "It goes deep into the creepy woods. It's so unique. The sets were very imaginative and well done. It's really a blast to go through it." So they have 3 haunted houses and over 45 minutes of fear. So don't say that you were not warned. The next one is Michigan. Erebus Haunted House in Pontiac, Michigan. Erebus Haunted House, not Phoebus. Erebus Haunted House in Pontiac, Michigan. The story behind, or is it Erebus Haunted House in Pontiac, Michigan. Guests come back for more nightmare fuel. Dr. J. Colbert built the world's first working time machine in the area, but it malfunctioned and instead attacked those who try to use it. Get ready for things that bite, grab, and even fly at you as you walk through the creepy halls. They better not bite me. Oh, no, you better don't. Okay, in Minnesota, Screamtown in Chaska, Minnesota. It says get ready to feel like you're having a living in a horror film at Screamtown. This Chaska haunted attraction gives guests nothing but a lantern to light their way through the woods. That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. Mississippi, in Tupelo Haunted Castle in Mooreville, Mississippi. Tupelo Haunted Castle in Mooreville has 4 different haunted paths to choose from the haunted castle itself to Lost in the Darkness. There's even a creepy obstacle that can only be completed by one person at a time. It requires guests to sign a waiver first. Look, when you got to sign a waiver, that means you don't need to be going in that place. Okay, when you sign a waiver, that means you're going to have a heart attack. No, I ain't signing no waiver. You tell me you got to sign a waiver before you go into this haunted house. I say, you know what? I'm going to sit outside. No. Missouri. Well, this is a great name of a haunted house. Isn't this interesting? Edge of Hell. Thank you, Susie. Edge of Hell in Kansas City. Well, thank you, Tricia. In Kansas City, Missouri. It says here, it's easy to see Edge of Hell in Kansas City has been frightening guests for over 45 years, focusing on all types of phobias, including Medusa, a giant snake who is 25 feet, 2 inches long, and weighing 350 pounds. The Edge of Hell is a Halloween must. You ain't putting Medusa near me. You ain't not putting no 25-foot giant snake near me. You better that snake better be in its pen. Shoot. The next one is Montana. Field of Screams in Victor, Montana. The Field of Screams in Victor is marketed as being fun day by day and scary by night. You'll encounter zombie-filled graveyards and playgrounds filled with clowns when you walk through this 3-acre corn maze. Pretty cool. Nebraska, Cape Fear in Elkhorn, Nebraska. If you've ever wanted to spend the night at a haunted house, well, Camp Fear in Elkhorn is the place for you. But if having no sleep and the sleepover isn't not your cup of tea, the attraction also has options like the interactive Toxic Hunt, where you try to kill zombies. Well, there we go. So you can stay the night there. In Nevada, Asylum and Hotel Fear in Las Vegas, Nevada. Asylum and Hotel Fear. If the glam and glitz of Las Vegas have you wishing for something a bit scarier, well, check out the Asylum and Hotel Fear. Guests will move between 2 haunted houses that follow a murderous plot that takes place in a hotel with traps and hidden doors. Oh, thank you there, Goofy. In New Hampshire, Haunted Overlord in Lee, New Hampshire. So it says here, at this Haunted New England attraction, you may want to look up to get the full effect. Haunted Overlord, located in Lee, boasts that they have monsters over 42 feet tall. In addition to tons of other scary sets and attractions, hold tight. They say it's going to be a wild ride. In New Jersey, in Brighton Asylum, I guess it's Posac in New Jersey. In Brighton Asylum is the name of it. You may have heard of Brighton Asylum from TV shows like The Today Show and Cake Boss. Well, this Posac haunted attraction is a giant walk-through dark attraction filled with terrifying live actors, horror movie-style scares, and special effects. Well, thank you. In New Mexico, McCall's Haunted Farm in Moritry or whatever, New Mexico. McCall's Haunted Farm in New Mexico has a fictional dark history. Rumor has it Farmer McCall slaughtered his wife and children here, and the visitors have gone missing over the years. The McCall's old cattle barn and meat processing facility is also mysteriously open for business. Walk through the corn maze and visit the haunted barn to see if you have what it takes to survive. In New York City, Blood Manor. Now, I've heard of this place. Watch out. Manhattan is about to get a whole lot scarier at Blood Manor in New York City. You'll walk from one theme room to the next as you venture through this massive 5,000 square foot haunted attraction. North Carolina, Kersey Valley Spooky Woods in Archdale, North Carolina. So Kersey Valley Spooky Woods in Archdale is definitely not for the ones who are easily scared. Expect special effects such as light, sound, smells, and even air pressure changes. And claustrophobic spaces. No. I don't think so. You put me in a claustrophobic space, I'm going to introduce the hole in the wall. Now, I will. Everybody, come follow me. I just made an exit. Come on, come behind me. I just see the light at the end of the tunnel. Come on, I just made an exit. Put me in a claustrophobic place and watch what happens. I will make an exit. Now, North Dakota, haunted fort in Mandan, North Dakota. What was once known as the Cluster House, the haunted fort in Mandan, is rumored to be haunted by its one-time inhabitants. And however, the creators decided to fill their haunted house attraction with classic villains like Freddy Krueger and Jigsaw. Ohio, 7 Floors of Hell in Middleburg Heights, Ohio. 7 Floors of Hell claims that they are not just a haunted house, they're an entire screen park. The Middleburg Heights Halloween must-see has 7 completely different themed haunted attractions. My goodness. That is crazy. Oklahoma, Trail of Fear in Lawton, Oklahoma. I'll get there. We're doing alphabetical order. Get ready to navigate yourself through some pretty terrifying scenes when you visit the Trail of Terror in Lawton. And actions include a hayride that's haunted and a 3D maze, among other spooky-worthy spectaculars. Oregon, Fearlandia in Portland, Oregon. Fearlandia has 2 options for your Halloween night out. The first option is you can venture into, it says some guard to retrieve Odin's eye, but you must watch out for the traps, vengeful gods, and horrifying monsters. If you want something a little more hands-on, the second option is being plunged into darkness and being forced to feel your way out of this Portland haunted attraction. Nope. Pennsylvania. Well, Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I mean, that's a given. Known for housing notorious criminals like Al Capone and Willie Sutton, the once operational Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia gets a little spookier come Halloween time. The whole prison becomes a haunted house that takes a little less than an hour to walk through. Oh, that's pretty cool. I've never been to Eastern State. It's a place I've always wanted to go to. In Rhode Island, Scary Acres in Hope, Rhode Island. Scary Acres in Hope starts with an innocent hayride through zombie-infested woods before you are dropped off at the start of a corn maze with nothing but a flashlight. When you get through that, you'll be faced with Fun House of Fears, where there may not be more than one evil clown lurking about. South Carolina, in Dark Castle, Elgin, South Carolina, when Dark Castle first opened in 1999. It was known as the Dark Knight Terror Trail. Now that trail is part of the larger Dark Castle haunted attraction. The Dark Knight Terror Trail allows guests to explore the Dark Knight's realm on an outdoor trail through some woods. There's also the Dungeon of Darkness and Zombie Zone. So visit if you dare. South Dakota, Fear Asylum in Brookings, South Dakota. Field of Screams in Pennsylvania on a whole. Okay. Well, there we go, folks. So the Field of Screams in Pennsylvania. Amanda says you got to go there. In South Dakota, Fear Asylum in Brookings, South Dakota. One viewer says this about their experience on the Fear Asylum website. The production value is all there, making you feel as though you are really in a strange environment straight out of a video game or movie. So there we go. Tennessee, Nashville Nightmare Haunted House. Nashville Nightmare Haunted House in Madison, Tennessee. And Nashville Nightmare Haunted House in Madison is your one-stop shop for all things haunted. This annual spooky event boasts 6 haunted houses in one location. My goodness. In Texas, House of Torment in Austin, Texas. If you're taking a Halloween stroll in Austin, be sure to check out House of Torment. This nightmare-fueled attraction offers 3 different scary experiences, plus escape games and spooky bars. And Utah, the Fear Factory in Salt Lake City, Utah. Fear Factory is something so scary to behold that you need to sign a waiver just to walk in the place. In the Salt Lake City Halloween must-see, you'll experience 6 buildings of terror with over 100 freaky actors. Vermont, Nightmare Vermont, and Essex Junction, Vermont. So Nightmare Vermont is perfect for the wannabe horror movie actor. This all-volunteer show in Essex Junction is filled with all kinds of unique and fun haunts where you can even be a part of the show. That's neat. In Virginia, Shocktober in Leesburg, Virginia. Almost finished. Shocktober is where guests can brave 3 levels of a manor that is actually haunted. The Leesburg attraction also offers a spooky carnival, which is located in the basement. In Washington, the state, the Georgetown Morgue. In Seattle, Washington. I mean, what more do you need? The Georgetown Morgue is an actual morgue built in 1928. It's turned haunted house. So if the actors don't scare you from the Seattle Halloween attraction, the ghost most definitely will. West Virginia, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Never been. Definitely want to go to this location in Weston, West Virginia. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was built in the 1800s. And during the month of October, it offers flashlight tours of the building. And as you walk through the Weston historical landmark, keep in mind, there have been lots of apparition sightings, unexplainable voices and sounds, and other paranormal activity, perfect for amateur ghost hunter. Plus, the Lunatic Asylum Haunted House is a terrifying choice for October. In Wisconsin, the Burial Chamber in Neenah, Wisconsin. Well, that sounds wonderful. The Burial Chamber in Neenah features 5 full, hauntingly good attractions with more than 100 talented actors and plenty of scares. And Wyoming, Nightmare on 17th Street in Cheyenne, West Wyoming. Nightmare on 17th Street has been offering superb scares for 30 years. When you walk through this Cheyenne Halloween spot, you're given only a glow stick. Well, that's great, to light your way. Well, that's just wonderful. A glow stick? I don't know about that one. No, I went through Air One, Air State, Air One of them. Let's see. Yeah, I went to every. I made sure I hit every state. I did it. Yeah, yep. I did Rhode Island, Scary Acres in Hope, Rhode Island. I may have skipped that. Scary Acres in Hope, Rhode Island. Scary Acres in Hope starts with an innocent hayride through zombie-infested woods before you are dropped off at the start of a corn maze with nothing but a flashlight. And when you get through that, you'll be faced with the fun House of Fears, where there may not be more than one evil clown lurking about. Yeah. You know what? That's the thing. They'll give you a little flashlight, this little tiny bitty $1 flashlight at the dollar store. No. I'm going to bring my torch flashlight. You know, one of those flashlights that has 500 million lumens or whatever it's called, and turn that sucker on. It's going to, the whole thing will be lit up. Come on over here, everybody. Somebody scares you, jumps out. I'm sorry, we saw you 20 feet away. I'm lighting this place up. It looks like 3 p.m. in the daytime. You know, no way. So, yeah, Mr. Producer, how are you guys doing with your storms? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, on generator power, but he's back on no power. So Mr. Producer has no power. He's on generator right now. They're having some bad storms where Mr. Producer is. So, yeah. Yeah, I will have a spotlight. Let me tell you something. I will, some zombie comes out. So I'll put that spotlight on that sucker and you a zombie now. You're not a zombie. What happened? Zombies don't get afraid for what now? Zombies don't like light. Now you're a vampire zombie. Is that what it is? No, I will. They want a spotlight. I'll put a spotlight on them. I will put a spotlight right on them. Yes, I will. So here you go. Now this is your chance to scare us. You know, I don't think they would like that very much. All right, let's open it up and let's see what other people have to say about on TikTok, and go from there. I will laser beams in. I will light that place up. It's all good though. It's all for fun, and that's what. No power till tomorrow. Oh man, everybody, Mr. Producer won't have any power till tomorrow. Oh, that's no fun. No fun. Well, hopefully it's just a bad thunderstorm that goes away. And I know it's no fun having no power. It isn't. Can I say Wallingford, Connecticut? Well, sure. Can you say the name in? Can I say? Oh, my bad. I thought you said. Can I say? I'm naturally blonde. I thought they were just asking. Well, can you say Wallingford? Okay. What was in Wallingford? It was. Let me find it for you. Trail of Terror. Love your beautiful eyes, beautiful. Well, thank you very much. Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut. Let me. People snap. Oh, he's kind of. Okay. Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut. It's made up of entirely volunteers. That's why I really like that. Because, like I said, they raised $700,000 for the Red Cross. That's really cool. That is really cool. But it's Trail of Terror in Wallingford, Connecticut. And as I mentioned, one Google reviewer says the haunt itself is totally worth it. The actors do a terrific job throughout the entire thing, which takes about an hour to go through. That's really neat. So you get your money's worth, and of course they do it for they do it for a great service. Peyton Manning, a priest now. I have no idea if Peyton Manning is a priest, but if I was Peyton Manning, then believe me, I'd great quarterback. Great, fantastic quarterback. Although he's no Joe Montana. I'm sorry, folks. If you're a Peyton Manning fan, God love you. But I'm an old school I'm an old school 49ers fan. I am with Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. That was the time. They were the team. That was it. So but Joe Montana he was a phenomenal quarterback. But there's other great quarterbacks besides Montana. Okay, so let's get into some of your questions. If you want to ask questions about the list that I went through, who dey? Joe Montana? Christine, come on. Jerry Rice? Come on, Christine. Oh, you did. Skip to Grace says, hey, Bishop, we went to the Rhode Island haunted woods for years with the kids. Super scary. Dan Marino's cool. Dan Marino's very good. I'll give Dan Marino credit. Yeah, absolutely. Joe Nam. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Ken Anderson. Okay. Yeah, but I'm just I've always been a Montana fan. The 49ers. That's just me. Is that an All Souls clergy ring? No. Okay, so do you have any well, we're going to be here for a little bit, so okay, what question? It's a bishop ring, if that's what you're referring to. Okay. I forgot Canada. Well, it was just it wasn't because it was in the this was just the United States. I'm sure there's places all around the world, but I'm sure in our Canada, it's good. Our Canadian friends have some good. Well, thank you very much, lovely. There is a Dent Schoolhouse that is a popular haunted house here in Cincinnati. Okay, cool. Well, folks will have to check that out. Am I married? No, I am not married. What is there, pagan are behind you? Again, if you don't like it, you can scroll up. Again, we're not gonna get into. Just scroll up. If you don't like the fact that I have a pumpkin, okay. Pity. See, people think they have a right to tell you how to live your life. You don't tell me how I live my life. I like pumpkins, and I'll put a pumpkin up 24/7 if I want to. 300. I'll pay every single day if I want to, because I'm in my 50s. You see, I'm not a 12-year-old kid. So if you don't like the fact that I have a pumpkin here, then go talk to your therapist about it, because I'm not in session. Okay. Anyway, I've never been to Sloss Furnace. Never been. Never been. Are you a Protestant? No. But thank you. I have friends that are Protestants. I have no problems with Protestants. I have good friends that are Protestants. The trolls, yeah. The trolls. See, the trolls that they're bored on a Friday night. You see, they're bored. They got to come out and the trolls have got to say, "Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me." Yeah, give them a lollipop and send them on their way. All right. Yeah, I love pumpkins. Okay, let's see. How would you protect yourself from attachment? Okay, how would you protect yourself from attachments in some of these haunted houses? Some have been featured, and well, yeah, I mean, some of these places, like if you go to a haunted location that's legitimately haunted, you have to be careful. I mean, you always say a prayer of protection. I go to haunted locations if I ever visit, which I don't because I don't have time. But for me, I love I love old historical places. Love it. Like Waverly Hills. I love going to Waverly Hills for the historical aspect. The Trans-Allegheny, the prison. I would love to go to Eastern State Penitentiary. I would love to go there. Alcatraz for the history and learning the history. That would be fascinating because I'm a history nerd through and through. Love historical locations. So that's where I would like to go to. But yeah, I've never been to Rome. Never been to Rome. But I imagine if I were going to out of country, it would be Israel. That would be the first location. I mean, Rome would be certainly there, but that would be down further on the list. Israel would be on the top of the list, no question. I mean, walking the steps of Christ to me, I think would be amazing. Well, thank you. I do. I do have Irish history. You see, Eli Roth Thanksgiving movie. I'm not really for sure what you mean because I haven't really been keeping up on the movies. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So what I would do is if you're going to locations, I would always pray the prayer of protection, which is, of course, you can do the prayer to St. Michael. Of course, the Our Father. I'm very devoted to the Blessed Mother, so the Rosary would be fine. So you can go to usocc.org. That's the church's information, and it's all there for you. Muted sound? Nope. Sound's not muted. You might have to refresh, but no, the sound's perfectly. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, which genuine haunting have you attended that scared you the most? Honestly, when we had the haunted house, when I was a kid, a teenager, I think, we did again. My parents were very, very devoted Roman Catholics, and we had a haunted house there underneath the church, and this is a big church. So this is a big church, and it was in the basement of the church, which is huge. That was scary. That was frightening. Like I said, I love haunted houses, but I didn't want to go through it. And even the priest, he actually played Dracula. So for those people say, "Oh, you're a pagan, you're doing pagan things," and well, you know what? A Roman Catholic priest played Dracula. What do you want from me? Come on. But I would say that was probably the scariest when I was a kid. Sure, I celebrate all saints, absolutely, and all souls. How scary was Bobby Mackey's? Here's it. I don't work for Zach. I don't work for Ghost Adventures. I don't work for Bobby Mackey's. And I tell people this all the time. If I didn't experience anything, I would tell you. But that night, it really, the guys were hit hard, really hard. And I remember when we were at the well, and I told them prior to performing the minor rite, I said, do not wander off, stay here, don't interrupt the rite. Let's focus on it. Okay. Well, I mean, the growl was very audible. We heard it was very clear. We all heard it. And it came from that other room. And, Zach, whether you like Zach or not, Zach is a friend of mine, and I like Zach. Zach also owns Ghost Adventures. He's also the executive producer. He has to produce. That's his job. So if he hears a noise, he has to go toward. I understand that. But he did. And when he came back, everything changed. His everything changed. And I knew then, it's like, oh boy. And then we went to that room. That's when Aaron is one of those really cool guys that's very gentle, very sweethearted kind of a person. He's not aggressive. He's not a mean person at all. I don't think he has a mean bone in his body. But I remember him filming. We were back there. I was doing the blessing. And I remember him having the camera, and he kept looking like this. So he kept filming and then looking at me like this. And he gave me this nasty, this hateful look. And he kept doing it. And I noticed this. And then Zach had his use. And I said, okay, that's it. You guys got to turn the cameras off. And that's what we did. So I wouldn't let them film it. And matter of fact, it affected them so much that normally they film until 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. They had to stop. I think it was like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They had to stop it. They had to stop because of the activity was so severe that, they cut it. So that was like, that's it. Doing good there, POV Paranormal. So yeah, that was an intense. Yeah, I remember they stopped, and they didn't have a big production. It was just them. So, because remember, that was the one that really kind of catapulted Ghost Adventures, because the Bobby Mackey's, that was a huge episode, and it really, that affected them badly. And so they didn't have a huge crew at all. It was just them. It was just us. That's all it was. Just us and them with the camera. So there was no sound people. There were nothing like that. It was just us. Now they have other, sound guy. They have not when I was with Ghost Adventures, though, at Bobby Mackey's. It was just us and their cameras. So, have you been to Adventure Escape? I have not been in places in Las Vegas as far as any haunted locations. There is good morning there from Japan. There is a location that is in Pennsylvania that I do need to get to. I've seen videos of this family, and there's clearly something demonic there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to get all the case files and all the other evidence. But from what I have seen so far, there's no doubt, none, that this family is dealing with some heavy stuff. And it's possible I might have to find a clergy member in Pennsylvania to assist, because I just don't know right now. Thank you. I just don't know what to expect fully when I get there. You really don't. When you get to a location, you really don't. You gather all the evidence, but until you're there and you're performing the minor rite, you really don't know. And so I just it's an intense place. It's an intense. I won't go. I'll have at least the team there. I'll never. I've been teaching about never ever go alone. I've been teaching that for years, and because it's very dangerous. So no, I won't do that. Thank you, but thank you very much. I can't show the evidence. I can show the evidence once I talk to the person who has this case, and if they allow me to show the evidence, if the family allows me, then I will. But so that's the thing. You got to be very careful when you're doing cases like this, because I don't own the evidence. So this team has been brought in asking me. The Fae and the Tuatha. Danann, is that what you're asking? I'm probably butchering the names, so because I'm not really. From my if I can remember correctly, I haven't studied a whole lot about that. Whoever's asking about the Fae and the Tuatha, I think it's Danann. I believe it's Irish mythology. It's a folklore from what I remember reading, and the Fae, also known as fairies, or a lot of people they're mythical creatures. They're known for the magical abilities in Irish folklore, and again, for those of you who don't know, I run the show now. I'm running on only two different computers, and the Fae are believed to have the power to grant wishes, bring good fortune, cause mischief, depending on their mood and intentions. And the Tuatha, I think Danann or Danann, I can't remember how to pronounce it, were ancient. It was a belief in the Irish folklore. They were supernatural beings of Irish mythology. And so they have the noble, they possess great magical abilities, I believe. So, but again, I'm not an expert on that at all. Okay. I'm not a fan of that, Skip to Grace. What are your thoughts about researching sigil scripts, magic symbols? If you are researching it for information and knowledge is one thing, but if you're wanting to research it to use that, I'm not in favor of that, because what's happening, especially with sigils, what I had a case where it was a possession case where she was a little girl. As a matter of fact, this was on the Eli Roth show. The Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists show, where the girl was constantly being picked on. I mean, really, really picked on. And she had read something online about the sigils and of a certain individual that she thought that perhaps maybe she could have certain powers. And this was very dangerous because on this website, they said that she could. And for the Ring of Solomon, because the belief is Solomon had these special sigils, if you will, and he could summon demons to force them into slavery to build temples for his lovers and concubines and his wives, and they were pagans. So she actually did some research, and allegedly she found this sigil for this demonic, and she thought that she could use a Ouija board to summon this particular sigil of this demon, using its sigil to cause problems for the people who are bullying her. Well, it was some major issues with that. So that's when it all started. I agree. You got to be very careful. You start getting involved in that, you might open up a can of worms. The history of Halloween. Oh gosh, that dates back, I think, 2,000 years. It actually has its roots in ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. Samhain was celebrated by the Celts in Ireland, and by the way, United Kingdom and parts of France. It marked the end of the harvest season and beginning of the dark, cold winter, often associated with death. Now, during Samhain, the Celts believed that the boundary between the world of the living, the world of the living, and the world of the dead was blurred, and the spirits could easily cross over into the living realm. And so that what they would do at that time is they would light bonfires. They'd wear costumes consisting of animal heads and skins to ward off roaming spirits. It was also a time of druids, Celtic priests, to make predictions about the future. Well, what happened, again, because I love history, what happened is the Romans conquered the Celts, territories around the 43 344 AD, something around that time. And so they blended with their own festivals with Samhain. And one of them was for Feralia, I believe. It's a day. It's in late October, when Romans would commemorate the passing of the dead. And another was a day to honor Pomona. That's the Roman goddess, and the fruit of it's the goddess of fruit and trees, which was associated with the apple harvest. So what happened was in 8th century, I believe, Pope Gregory III designated November the 1st as All Saints Day, and also known as All Hallows Day, to honor all the saints and martyrs. And the night before this holy day became known as All Hallows Eve, later shortened to Halloween. And over time, the customs and traditions of Samhain and other festivals merged with Halloween. Now, what happened is, as Christianity spread, the celebration of Halloween grew in popularity, although some of its ancient pagan roots remain. So, for example, the practice of dressing up in costumes and going out door to door for food or money, known as guising, can be traced back to the medieval practices of what's called souling, S-O-U-L-I-N-G. And during souling, what happened is poor people would ask for soul cakes, S-O-U-L, soul cakes, in exchange for praying for the souls of the dead. Well, Irish and Scottish immigrants brought Halloween to North America during the 19th century, where it gradually evolved into the holiday that we know today. So trick-or-treating, by the way, became more of a popular tradition. And over time, then, of course, Halloween became more of a community-centered holiday, focused on candy and the treats or something like that. So that's really what the tradition of Halloween. So hopefully it wasn't too much of a long-winded, but that's all I can really remember as far as the history. Of course, there's more to it, but yeah, it's harvest oriented. I knew Lorraine. But I did not know Ed. So I was friends with Lorraine. I love Lorraine. She was a sweetheart of a woman. I wish I would have had the opportunity to meet Ed, but I did not. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, when you understand the history of it, yeah, it's, I'm sure some people can take it out of context. I get it. But for me, Halloween it was never a time as a kid, it was never a time to worship Satan. It was never a time for any of that stuff. It was just a fun time I spent with my family, the trick-or-treating, or it was a fun time that we did for our Halloween for our haunted house at the parish that we did. And they made a lot of money. Thank you very much, everybody, for we have 130,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok, and thank you, moderators, for being here. I really appreciate that. So hopefully that's right. Yep, I'm in my 50s. I truly am. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I'm in my 50s. Yep. Well, hello there, Christopher, who's in his 57. Yeah, I agree. I don't. I think we can take everything out of context, and I think we can take it to the extreme. And I just think people got to relax a little bit about, Halloween, it's all evil. It's okay, all right. You know what? I'm a bishop. I happen to be an exorcist, and I love Halloween. There, so the idea that Halloween is going to make you a Satan worshiper, sorry, folks. I look 35. Well, I appreciate that, but the gray, all the gray here and all the gray there. But thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It cannot be evil. It's my birthday. Well, your birthday's coming up in Halloween. Okay, good. No, I don't think. I don't think Halloween is. I do remember the Halloween costumes. There was okay. Help me out, guys. Help me out. There was a particular mask. I would love to have that just as kind of historical reasons, and I don't remember the name of it. But on the on this face here, it was perfectly fine. But on this face here, it was really burnt. It was really burnt, and I can't remember the name of that particular uh, that mask. I've seen it before. Actually, I saw it in one of the Halloween movies. I think when they had all those masks on the walls, and I thought, hey, that's the mask. But his face here, his face was very clear. No, no, no. I know Phantom. No, no, I know Phantom. It wasn't Phantom. No, no, it wasn't Michael Myers. We're talking in the 70s, folks. We're talking the 70s, guys. No. It was a clear face here. And goodness gravy. I've got to find that because that's going to drive me crazy. No. This was in the 70s. No. I'm going to find this. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's one Phantom of the Opera. No. I love, matter of fact, I saw Sarah Brightman. And Michael Crawford and do, it was amazing. Amazing. They did Phantom of the Opera. I saw that in New York City. Loved it. It was one of the best. Guys, this mask was from the 70s. It's from the 70s. So this was not, no. That's a Halloween mask. Well, no. I don't remember. Anyway, we'll have to find it one day. And oh, you saw it in London. Wow. Yeah, I saw it in New York City. It was truly amazing. Truly amazing. Yeah, it was a two-face mask. On one side of the face, it was perfectly fine. And the other side of the face, it was really burnt. And it was nope. Two-Face from Batman. Guys. Okay, let's see. Two-Face mask from Batman 1970s. Everybody keeps saying that, but I don't think that was him. No, I see what you're saying, but no, it wasn't that. That wasn't the mask. One day, if I ever see it, if I ever come across it, I'll say this is what I was talking about. It was in one of those movies. I think I saw it in one of the Friday the 13th movies. I know I did. As a matter of fact, I think it was either Halloween 4 or Halloween 5. It was that one guy who I think he worked at the store or something, and the pharmacy store, and they had it. I remember them having it. So anyway, we can keep looking and keep thinking, no, it's not Michael Myers. No. Well, I'll find it for you guys. I'll find it one day. But and then when I do, I'll point it out. But it was the 1970s. Okay. Oh, what other questions you guys have? And because we have all. Yeah, it was a Halloween 4 or Halloween 5, and I remember a scene in Halloween 4 and Halloween 5 when they were there, and you saw it. His face was very. I think he had blonde hair. I think it was blonde hair, but it wasn't hair. It was plastic, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Mask of Bishop Long. Yeah. Yeah. If you see Halloween 4, Halloween 5, you'll know what I'm talking about. But don't you hate that? No, it wasn't Jason. No. It wasn't any. No. It didn't come from Halloween. It didn't come from Jason. It didn't come from Freddy Krueger. It didn't. No. Nope. Nothing like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to find it. It does drive me crazy when you want to find something you can't. It might be Halloween 5. I'll look. No, it's not Harvey Dent. I'm looking at some of the pictures. I think it might have been Halloween 5. But okay, we'll see. Yeah, it gets worse. But I listen. I know. I forget. I forget a lot. It's like I will remember something, and then it's like, oh, see you later. Goodbye. Nice to know you. Okay. Okay. Any other questions that you guys have? Any other thoughts that you have? We'll kind of go from there. And then yeah, let me pull this down here so we don't need that anymore. Yeah. Labyrinth has been a long time. It has been a long, long time. San Pedro Poltergeist. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm trying to remember that's going to drive me crazy. San Pedro Poltergeist. Wasn't that a movie? I think that was released in either 1989, 1990. A family allegedly moved into a house in San Pedro area, and terrible things started occurring, suggesting the poltergeist. It was, yeah, poltergeist. Well, no. Here's the deal. A poltergeist, and this is from my experience, and this is just my experience, okay? So I can only tell you what okay. Poltergeist, it means noisy ghost, but I've not found it to be a ghost at all. Poltergeist is negative energy that an individual or individuals that are emitting. So if they're going through extreme emotional stress, so if there's a lot of fighting, if there's a lot of stress, poltergeist mimics demonic activity, and it can be easily confused. The difference is with poltergeist, the number one form of destruction with poltergeist is fire, because oftentimes you'll have electrical sockets catching fire or light bulbs popping. And I have had plenty of poltergeist cases. Here's what happens with poltergeist. When someone finally tells you, okay, yes, I'm going through extreme emotional stress, we're fighting a lot, you're like, okay, maybe we have an example. Because I could do 1,000 blessings on a particular home, and it does nothing with poltergeist. Nothing at all. Nothing. But once you get the person help who's going through that extreme emotional distress, once you get them help, the activity will stop. So I've had cases that were very violent poltergeist inactivity because the emotional stress was so overwhelming, and there was a lot of fighting, physical fighting, verbal assaults. I mean, it was pretty rough, and their kitchen caught fire, and appliances would pop. Sometimes the shelves would throw. But with a poltergeist, there's no direct person who's the target. The environment just causes the negative activity, just causes such an explosion of activity. But with the demonic, you're the target. So there's intent behind the act. So if something gets thrown, it's not just thrown randomly. If something is thrown, there's a person that there's intent behind it. There's a target. And that's where you really get confused. People get confused with poltergeist with demonic. So what I have found that with poltergeist, it's in negative energy. And once you get that person the help that they need, you reduce the anxiety, you reduce the stress, the activity stops. And I've worked poltergeist cases. I've worked demonic cases. And there's an absolute clear distinction between the two. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, right. That's what I found. Energy, like I talked about this before, energy is not hocus pocus. And I've said this before. Like, for example, you're walking down the street, someone's walking towards you. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the entity. I'll talk about that in just a second. So, like, for example, if you're walking down the street and someone's walking towards you and you don't know that person, but you know you don't want to know that person, they're emitting such negative energy You just want to say, nope, 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 nope. I'm going to back away from that person. Versus if someone walks into a room and they don't have to say a word, their presence, their mere presence, thank you, their mere presence, people just flock to that person. That's positive energy. When I was studying with the Benedictines in the Roman Church, there was one particular Benedictine. He never had to say a word, but every time he walked into a room, people just wanted to get close to him. There was something very special about him. Very, very special. And that's positive energy. And that's what I have found. So that's the difference between the both guys. Yeah, the entity. And of course, that's in 1980, either 1982 or 1983. I can't remember. It's a horror film that came out. It's based on a book, and it's a pretty intense case. The movie is loosely, by the way, it's loosely inspired by the true story of Doris Bither, I think her name was, or Blyther, or I think her name Bither or something. It's a woman who claimed to have been repeatedly assaulted on an adult level by an incubus, and which I've had incubus cases before, incubus and succubus cases. So we have to be careful about what we say, because obviously there could be kids living, watching. So we had to be careful. So Doris's story, it actually first gained attention in 1970s. And she sought help from Gaynor. I think the last name was Gaynor. It's a paranormal investigator, and Barry Taff. And they investigated the claims, and they witnessed some really unusual phenomena in her home. There were objects moved on their own. There was high EMF reading. They also allegedly saw this entity, and they described it as like a dark, misty figure, I believe. The case actually became widely known after it was covered by the media, and that's when it was covered by an author who decided to write a book about it. So there's a lot of people who claim that the events depicted in both the book and the movie might have been a little highly debated as far as accuracy. Some skeptics, to be fair, have argued that the phenomena experienced by Bither might have been psychological rather than paranormal. And others questions the credibility of the investigators involved in the case. But again, I would just want to present both sides of the argument. The investigators stand by their claim 100%. And so there we go. It's loosely based on her story. Doris, I think it's a Bither or Bither, Bither. That is the individual who the entity is Doris Bither, Bither. So my first exorcism, actually, they aired it on the Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists show, and actually, I was not the primary. I was the secondary. I was the assistant, and the first exorcism was they aired it. That was a crazy case. That was in, everything you read about exorcism and everything you study about exorcism, you can read it all day long, you can study it all day long for years, but when you actually are in the presence of a true demonic, when you're in the presence of someone who's truly possessed, there's no guessing involved. I've been to a lot of people where they think that this is how they're supposed to act when they're possessed, so they'll hoop and holler and all this. So I'm like, oh, come on. And sometimes during the rite it does happen, but you can clearly, an exorcist I've been doing this for over 2 decades. So you kind of, you get an idea of, there's no guessing involved. But her eyes went solid black. And, you read it in the books, you read it in case studies that you study, but until you see it, there's just no way. I can't explain. I can see my reflection. So when I lift the eyelids to determine where she was in the transition into the stage of possession, the eyes were solid black, but it was a blackness where it's like a mirror. So I could see my reflection, and I was completely catatonic. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I couldn't talk. That's where Eric Roberts. That was when he was the he did that, the reenactment on that scene. I was the secondary, but I couldn't move. I felt like prey. I was completely catatonic. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I couldn't talk. I mean, it was looking in the eyes of an apex predator, and it was looking in the eyes of something far more evil than I could, with no emotion. There was no emotion. There was no, it was just a blackness, a void. And so thankfully the primary pulled me to the side and blessed me, and we continued to write. But yeah, that was, and the multiple pitches, the scream, here's what it sounds. For example, if you perform an exorcism, it's throwing the voice. The term throwing the voice, it's like if you go on YouTube and type in 8D surround sound and put on some headsets, really good headsets or ear, whatever, but make sure they're really good, and play some music in 8D. And that's what it sounds like. The other day I was going through YouTube and I saw 8D, what is that? So I clicked on it and I thought, wow, this is very similar to what it means by throwing the voice. So the demonic will scream, but it has the ability to throw the voice. So you're here, but you're also hearing it from back here. And then it moves here. And it can move up above you. And that's to disorient you. That's trying to disorient the exorcist. So these are all parlor tricks that the demonic will try to do to disorient, because it is disorienting. So that's why you can't listen to what the demonic is saying or doing, except for the 2 times where you command the time, the name, and the departure. But that you just you got to focus. You stay focused on the right. But yeah, if you go on YouTube after the show, go on YouTube and type in. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. That's a Christopher 57. That's a good way to put it. A dizzy static shock. That's a good way to put it. It is. It's kind of like a dizzy static shock. Yeah. But yeah, use the voices. I mean, because it'll throw the pitch, and you're looking behind you, and the person's sitting here. And I remember one time it did that, and I looked back, and it started laughing because it knew that it was getting in my head. It knew it was disorienting me, and it was. So I've had a lot of cases where I've performed 30 exorcisms where people who are validly possessed, and I've had a lot of cases where the demonic said it was Satan. Only a form of imitation. Imitation, but also intimidation, because these are all parlor tricks to try to frighten you, to try to make you think, okay, now you're fighting against something that's Satan himself. So many times it will say something like that. My personal life, no, because I pray. We always have, before an exorcism is performed, I always have go through the sacrament of reconciliation, confession. And the reason being is because there is a term called retrocognition. And retrocognition is the ability for the demonic to know your past sins. Now, people say, well, can they read your mind? No. They cannot read your mind. That's not the point. The reason is they know your past sins is because that falls under what is called under ordinary demonic activity. So demonic entities will tempt you to do things. Okay, Mr. Brizzer, will tempt you to do things. And that's why they know your sins, because they're the ones that cause the temptation to sin in the first place. Now, that doesn't mean that we blame then our sins on demons or angels, because that is what Gnosticism teaches. That's what Enoch teaches, the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch places the blame of sin directly on the shoulders of demons, and it takes the responsibility off the free will of the human. That's a big no-no. So they know your sins because it falls under what's called ordinary demonic activity. And because it's ordinary demonic activity, then that's where you have the choice, and that's where you sin. Now, there's also a term called extraordinary demonic activity, and that's where it falls into infestation, oppression, obsession, possession. Absolutely, a Christian can absolutely be possessed. The idea that a Christian cannot be possessed is absolutely false, 1,000,000% false, because we still have free will. Just because you say, I believe in Jesus Christ, my personal Lord and Savior, fine. But yet Christians can still sin. And you sin by going out and giving an invitation to the demonic to do something to you, to push you, to hurt you. That's the invitation. You still have free will. So that's very, very important to understand. You can say, Jesus Christ, my personal Lord and Savior, okay, but you also have the ability to fall into sin. Our sin don't go away just because we're Christians. So that's we have to be very careful with that. For those of you who are on Spreaker, I'm going to say good night to you guys. It goes by too fast. I'll stick around for just a little bit on TikTok, just a little bit. I'm going to remind everybody that I'm going to be here Saturday, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Miss Wilma. Miss Wilma and I, we just goof off and have a good time. We joke, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And I'll answer your questions again, your paranormal questions. I'll do that. So just make sure you understand. I'll be happy to answer your questions. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always tell you that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, friends, you're priceless, and don't let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRADB Radio. Good night. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.